The 2025 holiday makeup drops are officially here, and my wallet didn't stand a chance. Every year, these collections promise next level sparkle, ultimate glam, and stunning luxury packaging. But let's be real, are these releases actual limited edition gems or just repackaged filler? That's what we are finding out today. For those of you new here, hi, my name is Salima, and in this video, I will share swatches, comparisons, and my honest take on these holiday releases so you can decide if it's the perfect treat for yourself or the ideal gift for a loved one. Let's dive in. Let's start with the NARS Ethereal Aura Blush Palette. NARS actually released two versions of this palette. The lighter one, called Lightspeed, was exclusive to the NARS website at the time of filming this video. And then the other palette is called the New Realm, that is available at Sephora. So, of course, I bought mine up there to share this review with you. Inside this stunning palette, you get 6 blushes, 3 mattes, and 3 shimmers. NARS did something interesting here. The matte blushes are cult favorites from their existing line, while the shimmer shades are brand new. So you get a mix of shades that you already know and love alongside some fun new discoveries. I love this glossy lavender packaging. It looks almost holographic or iridescent when the light hits it. I think it looks holiday appropriate without feeling cheap or tacky. And as expected, inside you get a generous mirror for easy application. This palette contains NARS reformulated powder blush formula. As many of you know, they recently went through and removed the talc from their blushes, and I'm happy to report that these are still impactful. They're incredibly buildable, and I get a solid 6 to 7 hours of wear on my skin before I see any real fading. The shade Thrill is described as a cool light pink. If you have a cool or neutral undertones, this shade will make your complexion look instantly fresher and more awake. Surprisingly, on my skin tone, it pulls more like a muted pink, not a true bubblegum pink. It doesn't look ashy as long as I use a light hand. However, if you have prominent warm or golden undertones, this blush can definitely look chalky. So, for my fellow warm toned friends, start with a tiny bit and always pair this blush with a warm bronzer or a peachy lip color to balance it out. The next shade is Foolish, which is the shimmery version of that same cool pink. Now, this is my least favorite shade in this entire palette because it unfortunately lacks a lot of base pigment. What you do get is a hefty dose of prominent silver shimmer. As a standalone blush, it looks too ashy on my skin tone, and that aggressive shimmer can really emphasize texture. I can only really make this work as a sheer blush topper, lightly dusted over a matte shade just for a hint of sparkle. Next, we have Teased, which is described as a vibrant fuchsia. When you look at it in the pan, it's a little intimidating, but trust me, this is a gorgeous, saturated raspberry shade once it's on the cheek. I think it is such a perfect, rich, sophisticated color for winter. I love to layer it up with the shimmer shade in this palette called Thrash. Thrash is the shimmery version of Teased. It actually has good base pigment, unlike Foolish, but it is very shimmery for my personal liking. So, like Foolish, I prefer to use Thrash as a blush topper just to bring a metallic sheen to my cheeks on a full glam night out. Next, we hit my favorite part of the palette, Dolce Vita. This is one of NARS' most popular blush shades for a reason. It is described as a dusty rose, so it has significant amount of brown or terracotta mixed into that rose base, which is what makes it so special. It creates this natural sun-kissed effect on my cheeks. I can easily use this as a bronzer. It's a fantastic one and done blush that gives me warmth and definition, and I don't feel like I need to anchor it with a separate bronzer at all. And finally, we have Dark Love, the shimmery version of Dolce Vita. I use this shade lightly over the matte Dolce Vita to add a diffuse sheen and a massive boost of radiance to my cheeks. Overall, I think it's a great way to try 6 different blushes from NARS. I think NARS did a good job by putting all the current trendy blush shades in one palette. You know those popular cool tone pinks, the terracotta, and those deep berry shades? You get a little bit of everything in this lineup. Now, if you're looking at this palette and you're thinking, I love those matte shades, but I will never touch the shimmer version, is this palette still a good purchase? Let's look at the value. A single NARS blush usually retails for around $32, and this entire 6 pan palette is just $60. So I would absolutely say yes, it is still worth it. Even if you only use those three matte shades, you're getting an incredible deal on three of the NARS most sought after colors. For me, those matte shades are the real stars of the show anyway. Let me know in the comments below if you agree and if you will pick up this palette. Now, if you're wondering how this NARS blush palette compares to the Hourglass palettes, let me try and share some insights. I did a deep dive video on both the Swan and the Fox palettes that I got, which I will link in the cards for you. The fundamental difference comes down to the powder. The Hourglass ambient lighting powders are different from the NARS powder in the sense that an Hourglass powder is meant to add a diffuse wash of color combined with a soft focus filter effect. They are unlike anything else I own in my collection. In contrast, the NARS formula is all about pigment and saturation. So if you love those pigmented, soft matte blushes, you might find the Hourglass blushes feel too sheer for your liking. But if you love the idea of a product that blurs texture and adds radiance without any obvious shimmer or glitter, the Hourglass formula is absolutely unparalleled. The Hourglass holiday palettes are true all in one face palettes. You're getting three blushes, one bronzer, one highlighter, and one finishing powder in there. So, if you want one compact that literally does your entire face, from setting powder to blush and highlight, Hourglass is your winner. It's the ultimate travel companion. However, if blush is your absolute favorite step in your makeup routine and you want maximum variety in colors and finishes, then NARS is your clear choice. It really comes down to whether you need all in one palette for your whole face or a complete blush wardrobe with every trendy color you need. Think about what's missing in your current collection and which palette you will reach for consistently all year round. Is it the one that covers every step of your face routine or the one that gives you a complete, versatile blush wardrobe that you can mix and match for every season? Let me know in the comments, are you Team Hourglass or Team NARS this year and why? Moving on, I have another face palette that has impressed me this year. But before we dive into that, if you're enjoying this video so far, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you appreciate straight to the point reviews, swatches, and all that good stuff, make sure to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload from me. The next face palette I wanted to talk about is the ILIA Ethereal Baked Face Palette in the shade Medium. They first launched this last year and I'm so happy they brought it back. I really enjoy this formula and the simple, easy to use color story. In here, you get one highlighter, one bronzer, and two blushes. The packaging is great too. I've actually managed to keep it clean, which is awesome. Since this is a baked formula, you get all those amazing benefits we have talked about. A seamless application, virtually no kickback or fallout in the pan, and that signature, luminous, soft focus finish that never looks heavy. I get a soft, buildable wash of color that is perfect for my everyday routine. Honestly, when I use the bronzer and the blush, I don't necessarily need a highlighter as both are luminous on their own. But I do still enjoy the highlighter in this palette because it's not metallic and it doesn't have any chunky glitter. Looking at this palette closely, I think the color story is really similar to the popular Hourglass Swan Holiday palette. The blush in particular feels quite comparable. However, the Hourglass bronzer has a more neutral undertone, while the bronzer in the ILIA palette has a lovely, neutral leaning warm undertone. Now, the question is, who should buy the ILIA Ethereal palette versus the Hourglass Swan palette? If you're looking for a more cost effective palette that is a bit simpler with four great everyday essentials, ILIA is a great choice. Hourglass, on the other hand, is that ultimate luxurious investment piece for that filtered all over glow. But honestly, either one will look incredible on your vanity. Moving on, I grabbed the Merit the Mini Flush Blush Balm Trio. Merit comes out with a similar set every year, and I grabbed it last year as well because I think these minis are easy to put in a gift basket for your friends and family. It's easy to travel with, and it's a good way to try different shades within this line. In this set, you get two shades from the Merit's permanent line and one limited edition shade, which is called Redux. Let's look at the shade called Postmodern first. It is officially described as a deep pink brown, but to my eye, it is a muted mahogany shade. It creates a natural flush on my skin tone that you get when you're just cold. I thought it was similar to another shade that Merit has in their lineup called Bespoke. But looking at them side by side, Bespoke looks much cooler tone, so it will create that shadow and definition on your cheeks. The next shade in this set is the limited edition Flush Balm in the shade Redux. This is a beautiful, deep terracotta or warm, muted brownish red that gives the skin that gorgeous, natural, sun drenched flush. Because this blush is sheer, it manages to be vibrant without being overpowering or clown like and blends easily into the skin. The last shade you get in this set is called Le Bon Bon. This is your true bright fuchsia pink with a neutral to cool undertone. It's a bright, fun pop of color that instantly lifts the complexion. I much prefer the shade Stockholm from Merit, which is a much softer, more delicate baby pink with a neutral undertone. On my skin, it appears more muted than Le Bon Bon, so it acts more like a subtle brightener than a true color pop. Overall, I really enjoy Merit Flush Bombs. These are some of the most easy to use, beginner friendly cream blushes, in my opinion. They're not meant to pack a punch in terms of pigment, so I can experiment with a lot of different shades which I don't normally wear or find intimidating. On my dry skin, I get about 5 to 6 hours of wear with some fading. If you have combination or oily skin, you might want to set it with a powder or a setting spray. Next, I have the Merit Archival Lip Essentials gift set. This comes with a lipstick, a lip liner, and a lip oil, all in the shade Archival. This shade is not a part of their permanent lineup. If you have cool undertones or you have an olive skin tone, you will truly enjoy this shade. Let's start with the lipstick. Merit calls this formula a lip blush, and that name is perfect because it gives you this gorgeous, blurred finish on the lips. It's not fully opaque, but it has that sheer to medium pigment to create a really beautiful, soft layer of color without feeling heavy at all. The shade itself is a true cool mauve. It's a combination of purple and pink, and on my neutral leaning warm skin tone, it acts as a cool tone nude that thankfully doesn't wash me out. But as I said, I know this specific type of dusty, cool mauve would look beautiful on my cool and olive toned friends. Now, for the lip liner. The archival liner is also a muted, dusty shade with a clear purplish pink base. It matches the lipstick perfectly. However, since I have that neutral leaning warm undertone, when I paired this cool archival liner with the archival lipstick, it looks a little too cool for my liking. So, here's my fix. I like to pair the lipstick with the liner in the shade Brownstone, which is my favorite liner shade from Merit. Brownstone is a rich, deep, medium brown with a warm undertone, and it gives me that perfect, sculpted 90s vibe. If you're not familiar with Merit lip liners, these are super soft and super creamy. Because it's sheer and soft, you can honestly scribble it around your lip line repeatedly without creating a harsh, noticeable line. It is a foolproof formula and great for beginners. The only drawback is that these are not as long lasting as a traditional, waxier, long wear liner. You will definitely have to reapply after eating and drinking, so be aware of that trade off. Lastly, we have the tinted lip oil, which is probably my favorite out of these three products in this set. The shade Slick is a thin, glossy, and moisturizing version of the archival shade we have been discussing. But this lip oil has some silver and pink micro shimmer built into it. It creates a slightly icy mauve glaze over the lips that just catches the light perfectly. It gives you a plush, juicy look without any of that annoying stickiness. I would recommend this set if you're looking for that perfect, elevated, cool tone nude lip color. If you know you love a dusty, mauvey pink and appreciate formulas that prioritize comfort, hydration, and a soft, sheer finish, then grab this set. If you fall into cool tone or olive skin camp, this collection is practically a must buy for you. Another blush set I just couldn't resist buying is the NARS Mini Multiple Soft Blur Blush Stick Set for cheeks, eyes, and lips. You guys know, NARS recently came out with this new multi purpose stick, and I love this formula. This is not a super emollient or creamy formula that just slips around. In fact, it reminds me a lot of the fantastic texture of the Westman Atelier or even the Rode Pocket blushes. It goes on creamy, but then it sets down to a gorgeous, natural, almost skin like finish. Since they are not overly creamy or dewy, they really stay put on my cheeks all day, even through the high heat and humidity. You get three beautiful shades in this set. First is the Dolce Vita, which is a dusty rose. Next is Fling, which is described as a watermelon pink. This shade was sitting on my wish list in the full size, so I'm happy to finally get a mini version. The last one is Orgasm Crave, which is described as a peachy pink with golden pearl. This is the first time I've actually enjoyed an orgasm shade from NARS. I generally don't like it in the powder formula because the glitter particles are just too obvious and chunky for me. But this new formula is refined and smooth. I will also quickly swatch the other three shades of this blush that I have in full size so you can see the whole collection. Another big question for any gift set: is the NARS mini set a good value for your money? My answer is a yes. When you buy one full size stick, you spend $40 for 8 grams of product. In this limited edition set, you get 3 minis, totaling a 10.5 grams of product for just $45. So you pay just a little bit more, but then you get more product and 3 different shades. If you're someone who loves blush and wants to rotate between 3 classic NARS shade, this set is made for you. Also, if you haven't tried the new soft blur formula yet, this is your chance. I think it's a smart way to test this high quality cream blush formula across 3 colors without having to commit to a $40 single stick. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments if you have picked up this one. Lastly, I wanted to share a fantastic set that I think is a great value, and I honestly would have brought it for myself if I didn't already own the full size products. It's the Westman Atelier Mini Baby Cheeks Blush Trio. One full size Baby Cheeks blush stick is $48 for 6 grams of product. In this trio, you get 3 mini blushes for a total price of $60. Each mini comes with 2.5 grams of product. So, considering how incredibly pigmented these blushes are, 2.5 grams is going to last you for a long time. In this trio, you get 3 shades. Petal and Chouchette are their top selling shades and are a part of their permanent line. The third shade, Jam, is a gorgeous, vibrant berry blush shade that is exclusive to this set. It's always fun to get something limited edition. I highly recommend this set because it's a great way to try these Westman Atelier blushes. They're not only creamy and intensely pigmented, but they melt into the skin and set down to a beautiful natural finish. They also have a wonderful smoothing effect on the skin. I have never had any issues with the longevity of these blushes. They stay put on my cheeks all day. Another similar gift set that I wanted to share with you guys is the one from Saie, their mini Glowy Super Gel Trio. The full size Glowy Super Gel, which is a 30 ml bottle, costs you $29. This trio set gives you 3 mini bottles, and each one is 15 ml. That means you are getting a total of 45 ml of product for just $30. This set is a no-brainer if you are a glow enthusiast. I already own two of the three shades in this trio, and I love both of them. This formula is just perfect to use as a primer before you apply your foundation or tinted moisturizer to add some hydration and luminosity to the skin. It gives you more of that natural, lit from within glow compared to something like the Dior Star Filter, which is much more intense. Because the Saie gel is more natural, I can even wear it on its own without having to put on a foundation or a skin tint. This is how I often use it on those lighter makeup days. If you want to try all three popular shades, this mini glowy super gel trio is my top recommendation. That's it, my friends. That wraps up today's video. I hope this breakdown of all the value sets was helpful for you. I'm already in full on vacation mode just by talking about all of these holiday sets and potential gifts. Let me know what's on your wish list for this year's holiday shopping. Are you grabbing something for yourself? Or are you looking for that perfect gift for a makeup enthusiast in your life? I hope you all stay happy and safe wherever you are in the world, and I will catch you in my next one. Bye for now.